What up, sports fans? Waxon Wednesday. Jay, Waxman, Tyler, I'll let two guys talk sports. Let's rock and roll. First of all, congratulations to Christian Rassmussen on his first career IndyCar win at Milwaukee this previous weekend, and I gotta say, he earned it, passing the soon-to-be four-time champion Alex Palou and winning in exciting fashion. Good for that young guy. Christian Rasmussen has really come into his own in his second year at IndyCar. First year, I wasn't sure really what to think of him because we didn't see much, and a lot of that also was Ed Carpenter Racing not really at its best. But this year, Ed Carpenter Racing has really found something this season, and Christian Rasmussen has taken huge strides forward, which has helped both Christian Rasmussen himself and Ed Carpenter Racing. And Alexander Rossi himself, back-to-back top 5 finishes this season after struggling for most of the year. So perhaps Ed Carpenter Racing's got some momentum going into next year, and they could have their best season in IndyCar for quite some time. And people forget their last win, 2021, with Rinus VeeKay in that same 21 car at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. So I'm really excited to see where Ed Carpenter Racing goes from here going into next season. They could have a lot of momentum and could actually have their best season up to date. And hopefully, I'm just hoping that also means that brighter days are ahead for Rossi. We'll see. I didn't expect too much out of Alexander Rossi, but he's had some really good runs as of late and some well-earned top 5 finishes. That's got to boost confidence there. And of course, Christian Rasmussen has turned it up in the second half of the IndyCar season. Ever since getting that solid top 10 finish in the Indianapolis 500, Christian Rasmussen, he's been on a tear. He's gotten some solid finishes, and finally at Milwaukee he broke through and got his first career IndyCar win. So the future's looking pretty bright for him. Now, no doubt, Rasmussen, he's proven, okay, talented driver. Just a matter of what Ed Carpenter does next season, or Ed Carpenter Racing, ECR. They got positive momentum going into 2026. Let's see if Christian Rasmussen's big time win at Milwaukee gives Ed Carpenter Racing the momentum it needs to go into next year and have the team's best season yet. And Rasmussen, no doubt, talented driver. I have no doubt he can win some more races in the IndyCar season. He's proven. And you know what, I will say this. He has surprised me this season. He's proven me wrong, but I'm impressed with Christian Rasmussen. And I know the kid's got talent. Now it just all comes down to can Ed Carpenter Racing carry that momentum that they have right now into the 2026 season? Because we already know Alex Palou is going to win this year's IndyCar Championship. We know that. Now it's just a matter of who's looking good going into next season. Who could be a contender? And maybe this Ed Carpenter team, maybe, just maybe, they have a championship contender next season in Christian Rasmussen. We'll find out. And now we're going to talk a little bit about college football. Okay, so I'll start some final thoughts on Purdue, and I'll make a record prediction. So, a lot of questions surrounding this Purdue team. New head coach in Barry Odom, who's been successful in a lot of places he's gone, whether it's Missouri or UNLV. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how his approach going into this football season helps this Purdue Boilermakers team. And something I'd like to point out, Tyler Trent, the late Tyler Trent, his brother Ethan Trent, not only made the Purdue football team, but I'm hearing is going to be a starter on the offensive line. Or correct me if I'm offensive line. Sorry about that. I sputtered there. So, really happy for Ethan Trent. He deserves it. And that's positive news for Purdue football as well, because they just need solidarity at each and every position. We know Ryan Brown's going to be the starting quarterback for the Boilermakers. We'll see if he can hold on to that starting spot. I got belief in him, being that he has experience with the way Purdue plays offense, but depends on what kind of offense Barry Odom brings it into his first season at Purdue. And he's more of Odom is more of a defensive coach, so we'll see if he can get the defense to succeed where Ryan Walters fell short, unfortunately. But a lot of question marks on both sides of the ball. I mean, I'm not concerned about Purdue's running game. You got Devin Mockabee, who going into his senior season, no doubt will lock down that starting job as the starting running back. A quarterback, we'll see how things go there. We'll see if Ryan Brown can hold down the job. Offensive line, of course, has had its share of hiccups throughout the season. Wide receiving core, I've got some concerns about. And the same with the defensive side of the ball. I just don't know much or what to expect on the defensive side of the ball. So, as we go through the season, we'll learn more about them. I mean, I like to think defensive line seems decent. I'm just not sure about the corners and that stuff. And keep in mind, the Boilermakers brought in more players through the transfer portal than anybody else this offseason. So I think over 50 new players are Boilermakers this year. So that's crazy numbers right there. So, I mean, like as I said, I got my concerns about the defense, but maybe Barry Odom has that philosophy that the defense needs to get rejuvenated, re-energized, and focused. And a lot of pressure on Barry Odom, even in just his first year, because he knows he wants to get Purdue back to their winning ways. It's not going to come overnight, I believe. So, I'm willing to get... So, as long as Barry Odom, in his first season, does better than Purdue football... As long as Purdue football does better this season in the win column than they did last season, okay, that's a step forward. I'd be fine with that, because I have a feeling it's not going to be a good season. There's a lot of work to be done with this Purdue football team. Hopefully I'm wrong, and maybe they'll surprise me and win more games than I gave them credit, but I'll give you a prediction. I'm thinking 3. I think this Purdue team wins 3 times this football season, but no more than that. I think there's definitely 3 games on the schedule, that I think they can win. We'll see what those 3 games are. No, hey, they're going... Week 1 is going to be all the important, though. You got Ball State coming to Ross-Ade Stadium. And Ball State, they could be a tricky opponent for Purdue. This could be a popular pick, sadly, for an upset alert. But then despite Purdue being a 17-point favorite over Ball State, hey, Purdue has had its struggles with MAC opponents in the past. So, got to start out strong. If they can take care of business against Ball State and then win their second game, I believe, against Southern Illinois, then, okay, this team could show a whole lot of improvement this upcoming season. Of course, I think 3 at most is the number of wins that Purdue gets this football season. Time will tell. Hopefully I'm wrong and they win a lot more games than that. Boiler up. And to Coach Barry Odom, I wish you all the best in your first season as the head coach of the Boilermakers. And speaking of college football, we'll move on to the Big Ten. All right. So, I'm just going to make a prediction on who I think is going to be in the Big Ten championship, the Big Ten football championship. So, there's Ohio State who won the national championship last year despite missing out on the Big Ten championship. I think they'll be a favorite to make this year's Big Ten championship. Same with they'll have to contend with Penn State, who's good as usual. And you got teams on the West Coast like Oregon, who could make a return trip. And a lot of people are really high. Okay, not to be biased, I'm a Purdue fan, but there's a lot of people that are really high on Illinois this year. And while Luke Altemeyer's coming back, good, fantastic quarterback, but we'll see. This Illinois team, they'll win a lot of games, I think, but we'll see if they win enough to get to the Big Ten championship, though. That we will see. It's never easy, and especially with the Big Ten West. So, and then you got other teams. You got teams that could show improvement, like teams like Michigan State. I think that's a team that probably will be very improved. Michigan, they could be better this upcoming season. Could end up winning enough games, including another one against Ohio State at Michigan Stadium. Could end up going to a bowl game, but I don't think they'll be a contender for a Big Ten championship appearance. And I wonder if if Michigan's already thinking about the next head coach. We'll see. Jerome Moore, seems he's held down things pretty well at Michigan, but knowing Michigan's history of football and knowing what the fans and the boosters and the alumni and the athletic department expects out of Michigan, I mean, the pressure is going to be on Sharon Moore to get Michigan back to not only back to bowl season, but back to college football championship levels of contention. So, with all that being said, I mean, also, I wonder how teams like Wisconsin and Washington are going to do. So, keeping those in mind. And then there's Nebraska, of course. A lot of people, I mean, Matt Rule going into year 3 at Nebraska. We'll see how they do. But with all that being said, my prediction is I'm going to go with Ohio State versus Penn State for the Big Ten championship. So, regular season, I think Ohio State and Penn State will end up with the best records and will end up playing each other in the Big Ten football championship at the end of November. But that's just my prediction. Indiana, I think, before I forget, Indiana, I think they'll be a strong team, but I'm not so sure they'll be strong enough to get back to the Big Ten football championship. So, anyway, my prediction for who I think is going to be, in terms of regular season predictions, this is who I think is going to be in the Big Ten championship when the end of November rolls around. All right, on to this day in sports history, and on this day, the 27th of August, 2004, an all-time Olympic upset. In a huge upset in the men's basketball semifinal at the Athens Olympic, Argentina beats Team USA 89-81. They go on to take the gold, and Team USA would take the bronze at that Olympic. So that's the last time that Team USA did not win the gold in the Olympics. All right, sports fans, that's all I got for this week's Wax on Wednesday. Just want to give you guys a head up. There will be no Friday roundtable this upcoming week. Josh informed me that the studio is going to be closed on Friday, to celebrate Labor Day weekend. So we will not have a Friday roundtable this week. Apologies for the inconvenience there. We should have one next week, though. And with that being said, sports fans, I hope you enjoyed this week's Wax on Wednesday. See you all next week, and enjoy the football. This is Jake Waxman from Two Guys Talk Sports, signing off.